Oh, hey guys, it's me, Matheus. So yeah, we are live. We are live. Hell yeah! Whoa, 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 whoa! I got pinged. so yeah. All right, let me self promote here. Self promote this. All right. All right. So I'm just doing something here, and we will start this video. Oh, hey Max. Hey Max. How's it going? Thanks for coming. Yeah, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream here. Welcome. Okay, so doing good. Just going to work at the moment. Okay. 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 That's fine. That's fine. That's fine on Max. That's fine. But I'm glad. I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing good. That's good to hear. All right. So okay. I think I'm about to start the stream right now. Yeah, the video that yeah. So I think I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready now. So let's do this. Wait, hold on a second. There we go. Right, let's grab the where's the video? There it is. All right, so we are gonna react to is the Super Smash Bros. Iceberg Explain. Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last one I did was a couple months ago. I think I did Iceberg. I react to Iceberg video because the one I did was the Nintendo one. So it's gonna be the Smash Brothers one, and let's go.
The Super Smash Brothers series
Wait, hold on.
is one of gaming's pillars, with
Wait, hold on a second. Let me load the volume here. There we go.
entries across more than 2 decades. And with that comes a near endless amount of information to learn about. Well, I've mapped the facts, theories, leaks, and rumors onto an iceberg to see just how deep it all goes. If you
All
don't know,
right.
an iceberg organizes
Yeah.
information on a topic, with
Yeah.
general knowledge starting at the top, and more specific or obscure knowledge the deeper you go. So let's dive down into the Super Smash Bros. Iceberg.
Let's go.
Level 1.
Level 1.
Ridley is too big.
Really stupid.
As far
Ridley's
back
too
as
big.
Melee, players were eager to play as Ridley, but it just never seemed to
Yeah,
In
yeah.
both
Okay, at the
Brawl
time,
and
yeah,
Smash for
he was a
Wii U,
boss.
Ridley instead appears as a boss and stage hazard, respectively.
Yeah, on Melee, he only appears on the intro of Melee. I mean, he does show it there.
When asked about the Space Pirate as a fighter, Smash director Masahiro Sakurai said, "I definitely know that Ridley's a much anticipated name for fans, but if we made Ridley as a fighter, it wouldn't be Ridley any longer. It'd have to be shrunk down or its wings reduced in size or be unable to fly around freely. Providing accurate portrayals of characters.
Yeah, well, hold on. If you guys want to voice chat here, there's the invite link if you guys want to join the voice chat. If you guys want to. So yeah, I'll keep it. It's right there. It's on the chat here. So yeah, if you guys want to BG.
Something I want to pay ample attention to. Instead of going through a lot of very convoluted hocus pocus to make Ridley a fighter, I figured it'd be better to keep Ridley as it currently is, the correct way, and have it feel like a truly threatening presence. As a result of this quote, Ridley is too big became a common counter for Ridley becoming a fighter. But despite Sakurai's own words and actions, Ridley would finally become a playable fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, even debuting with the tagline of Ridley hits the big time.
Yep.
A direct nod to the too big.
Remember that?
To get around the size concerns, Sakurai designed the fighter Ridley after his NES counterpart, who is much more reasonable.
God damn it! Ah, fuck, nah. Why the hell ad has to appear? Ah, stupid ad. Of course, a damn ad is gonna appear. Oh well. You damn ads have to appear on the middle of the video. Oh crap! That you stupid! No, shit! The fuck! Yeah, I'm blaming that ad. Blame that ad.
Designed the fighter Ridley after his NES counterpart, who is much more reasonable in size.
Yeah.
Smash Ultimate leaked early. 2 weeks before Smash Ultimate's release date, a retailer in Mexico received shipments of the physical game and sold copies ahead of its official release date.
Yeah.
This led to physical copies out in the wild, and it was only a matter of time before the game was dumped and uploaded to the internet, and anyone with a modded Switch could install it for themselves. Because all of the fighters and stages were officially revealed before the game's release, we didn't get any kind of crazy bombshell information.
Yeah.
However, smaller bits of information were revealed. Darkon existing as a boss, some of the smaller functions of the game's menu system, all of the game's music, and the way that Squad Strike functioned were some of the more notable revelations. Predictably, anyone who uploaded content from this leaked version of the game were hit with copyright strikes from Nintendo, with music channels being the biggest offenders of breaking street date. Others would also upload footage of the World of Light single-player mode, which also received strikes from the Big N.
Damn.
Roy debuted in Melee. During the development of Super Smash Bros. Melee,
Masahiro
Sakurai wanted to include some Fire Emblem representation. He actually wanted to include Marth in the first Super Smash Bros., but couldn't realize it because of development time constraints.
Yeah,
so
at the
in
time.
The sequel, Marth was definitely going to be an inclusion.
Yeah.
But to increase the size of the roster without stretching development time, Sakurai eyed clone characters. These would effectively just need a new model and some minor tweaking, but would use another character as a foundation. So, for example, Dr. Mario is just a reskinned Mario with some minor changes.
Yeah.
When looking at a
Dr.
potential
Mario,
clone character,
he's stronger
Roy
than Mario, but slower.
His first game, Fire Emblem The Binding Blade, was in development at that point, so it felt natural to include him. But trouble with development on Binding Blade caused the game to be delayed. So Roy technically made his first debut in Melee rather than in an actual Fire Emblem game. Because both were developed at the same time, Sakurai couldn't get a feel for Roy's personality. While in the Fire Emblem games, Roy is pretty close to Marth, in Smash, he is way different. He's portrayed as a very strong character with a sense of hidden power, showing he yells and the fire effects from his sword. It's kind of strange.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. What do you... Opinion on Splatfest? Okay, I don't know what Splatfest you're talking about. I'm not sure if you're talking about like all of them, but okay. The color, what the hell is that? Wait, what is that? Wait, what is that? How is that? What the hell is that? Hold on, let me look it up. Okay. Nah, I don't know what that is. No, I don't even know what the heck is the culture. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is.
Strange. The Roy from Fire Emblem is a very different character than you'd guess if you looked at his smashing.
Yeah, it is different.
Wave dashing. During the
That's
development
pretty
of Melee, multiple new mechanics were introduced, and one of these was the air dodge, giving you brief
Yeah,
invincibility in
the
the air
air
in order to
dodge.
avoid attacks. Melee's version of the air dodge allows the player to input a direction, which will shoot the player in that direction in an effort to get further out of harm's way. However,
Yeah.
if you do this low enough to the ground, something needs to happen. The developers decided that if you air dodge into the ground, your character will instantly be standing and keep a tiny bit of their momentum. This was the
Yeah. Hey, Thomas Game. Hey, Thomas Gaming. Okay, I didn't even ask. I didn't even ask, but I'm glad you're doing all right, and I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking. I wasn't expecting you to ask that fast. You didn't even let me finish. How are you doing? But whatever you. Okay.
intended behavior, but really it was just meant to be a what-if scenario on the off chance that a player air dodged this low to the ground. But competitive players soon found out that if you jump and
What the heck is
immediately
that?
input
What
an
is
air
Super
dodge in
Stacker?
a downward diagonal, that slide momentum
I
will
don't
be
know what
at
you're
its
talking
peak,
about.
and you can actually move while simultaneously performing attacks. This movement was dubbed a wave dash, taken from a name from a similar dash mechanic in the Tekken series.
Oh, Tekken.
Every character can perform
Yeah,
a
I
wave
don't think I
dash.
knew that.
However, the distance
Yeah, I never
traveled
played
is unique
Tekken.
for every character. Luigi, for example, has the longest wave dash in the game, and is usually the
Yeah,
character that
he
people
does.
suggest when you're trying to learn how to wave dash. Coin Battle. Coin Battle
Coin
is a
Battle.
now lost game mode in the Smash series.
Yeah, Coin Battle. Okay, man. All right. Opinion on Death Battle. Death Battle. Again, if you're saying like the series, then the series is I watch it like sometimes. I'm not really into Death Battle. I mean, Death Battle I watch it sometimes, but yeah. I mean, I used to watch Death Battle. I used to. In the old days, I used to.
Did you ever play it? Yeah, me neither. Jokes aside, Coin
Coin
Battle
Battle-
was a fun
I
twist on the
don't think
Smash
I ever
Bros.
played Coin
gameplay.
Battle in my
Rather
life.
than simply fighting for the most KOs or to be the last one standing, Coin Battle had you collecting coins. Coins would fall out of fighters when they receive damage and could be collected by running through them, which would increase your coin count. But if you take damage or get KO'd, you lose coins, decreasing your coin count. The player that finished the match with the most coins is the winner. This debuted in Melee and was in Brawl and Wii U as well, but was scrapped from the series for Ultimate's release. Sakurai's Cat.
Sakurai's
In
Cat.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl, a new stage was introduced named Pokemon Stadium 2. This is a sequel to the previous game's Pokemon Stadium 1, where the stage would transform into different forms based on a Pokemon type. Stadium 2 is the same layout, but with a new batch of transformations like electric, flying, and ice. The ice-type form features a cabin in the background, and if you manipulate the camera, you can see an image of a cat along one of the walls. I don't know how this rumor came about, but it essentially became a Smash Bros. Urban legend that this cat was Sakurai's cat that he snuck into the game. This became such a commonly repeated line that Sakurai himself actually addressed this on Twitter, saying that this was not true at all. And of course, if you look at Sakurai's actual cat, you can see that this isn't the case. The two cats are clearly different. So either this is another one of the developers' cats that they snuck in, or just a random image placed there for fun.
Yeah, I got the random image just for some cat.
Donkey Kong 64 featured a silly little rap song that introduced all of the Kongs playable in that game, known as the DK rap. With Smash being a big crossover fighting game, most of the music in the game originates from characters' home series. The DK rap was brought over to Smash, but it was completely redone with a new instrumental and a totally new vocalist. Along with this new version, some changes were made to the song. Some minor words were tweaked in this version, with the most notable being the change from one hell of a guy to one heck of a guy. We can't have the bad hell word in our rated T game, but we can have it in the E-rated game for some reason. All of the verses are found in Melee and Brawl, though Diddy's and Tiny's verses are sung faster as a musical choice for the cover.
That's a weird change,
However,
though.
in Smash for Wii U and Smash Ultimate, whole verses are completely cut out. Only Donkey Kong's, Tiny Kong's, and Diddy Kong's verses remain in the song, leaving Lanky's and Chunky's verses tossed in the recycle bin for no real reason.
Damn. Recipes for them.
Custom moves. One of the most unique mechanics
Rip
introduced
them.
in Smash for 3DS and Wii U
custom
were
moves.
custom moves. Each fighter's special moves have a
Yeah,
total of 3
custom
options. The
moves. I found
default
that pretty
and 2
good
variations.
when
These were
I
often
find
the
that
same
it's
kind
pretty
of move,
good
but
when
each
they add
variation
this
would
on
give that move
Ultimate.
different properties.
Not Ultimate,
For
I'm
instance,
bored.
Mario's
Ultimate
neutral
doesn't
special
have
was
it
a normal
anymore.
fireball.
Only for the
However, he
Miis.
also had variations for a fast fireball, a quicker and weaker version, or the fire orb, a gigantic, slow-moving fireball.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
a good.
stronger. Others
Yeah,
had
that's
more
a
unique
Strong fireball.
Palutena was the tutorial character for custom moves, with all of her custom
Palutena
moves
sucks in this
unlocked at the
game.
top, so she ended up having much more varied custom moves to show off the concept. The Mii fighters also had a larger variety of custom moves, given that in order to use these characters in the first place, you have to go into the custom move section. But on the other hand, the diversity of their moves is rather deceiving, since many of them repurpose moves that other characters already have by taking moves from Samus or Link. And custom moves were an absolute nightmare to unlock. They're all unlocked through single-player modes at complete random. Sometimes you'll get a bunch as a reward, sometimes you'll get none at all. And the worst part is you could get repeats. It's not like the game sees that you unlocked all of Mega Man's custom moves and it removes them from the pool of rewards. You can still earn them at the end of games, making unlocking them all take that much longer. And then once you have the moves, they're a whole problem of their own. The competitive scene went through a phase where they wanted to experiment with allowing custom moves in tournament, but this ended up being pretty controversial. Custom moves wildly changed which characters were good, to the point where some felt completely unfair. Donkey Kong's Kong Cyclone move is one of the more infamous custom moves, being an incredibly chaotic win box with a mind of its own. Between the balance issues of these moves and the logistics headache of actually unlocking them all on every setup for a tournament, the community decided to ban the use of custom moves entirely. Sakurai seemed to agree, because none of Smash 4's DLC characters came with any custom moves, and custom moves were removed entirely.
I wonder why that. I wonder why that. I'm trying to say, wonder why custom moves is not in any Smash Brothers games anymore. I mean, not in Ultimate anymore. Not in Ultimate, because they ban them. They banned this
from the next entry, Smash Ultimate. Palutena, for example, sort of got a combination of many of her custom moves put into an upgraded moveset. The only characters that keep custom moves are the Mii fighters, which feels right considering the whole concept of Mii fighters is customization. Outside of that, every other character for the Mii has their standard default move.
Oh, come on! No, get this crap out of here! No. God, I hope I don't get copyright because
Sonic and Tails in Melee. One of the most common rumors in the early 2000s was that both Sonic and Tails were playable in Super Smash Bros. Melee. The origin for this appears to be the gaming magazine Electronic Gaming Monthly. They were well known for their April Fool's prank, and in their April 2002 issue, a small blurb appeared stating that Sonic and Tails could be unlocked in Melee. They claimed that defeating 20 enemies in Cruel Smash would unlock the duo as fighters. It showed them on the character select screen, as well as a poorly photoshopped image of them in a Smash battle. But this absolutely snowballed in a way that they could have never predicted. Many sources were citing this as fact.
That would have been
on the playground were suddenly saying their brother's friend's cousin has Sonic and Smash, along with a level 200 Mewtwo. It spread so quickly that Nintendo Power actually included an article in one of their later issues stating that this rumor was false. While it would be easy to pick this apart nowadays, back then it became the stuff of legend, and it will easily go down in history as one of the most widespread gaming hoaxes. Rayman DLC hoax. In February 2015, several images were posted to 4chan that claimed Rayman was going to be added to Smash 4. These images showed Rayman on the character roster using an extremely high-quality render that didn't appear to already exist. It also showed his unlock splash screen, a new sub-menu on the main menu, and his roster icon, which also showed off Mewtwo, who was recently announced as DLC. A little later, an actual video was posted of this new roster, with whoever was filming actively moving the cursor over Rayman. The actual video made this feel incredibly convincing because it was high quality, didn't really have any kind of noticeable errors, plus the community at large was just less critical at that time. Another image would surface of Rayman and Mewtwo on the 3DS roster.
Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back out. It was no one. What happened? What happened to get interrupted?
All of this seemed to add to a previous rumor where a Nintendo employee mentioned Rayman in Smash, which was at the time just considered an honest mistake. As it turns out, this was not a genuine leak, but instead a hoax created by Artsy Omni, a YouTuber who did this as a promotional stunt for his brand new YouTube channel, Smashify. This channel would play high-quality Smash-style assets for non-Smash characters. He highlighted his whole process for creating the leak, which would eventually become the format for the Smashified series. Interestingly, though, someone else created the 3DS roster image, as Omni confirmed that he didn't make it. The Grinch leak. Ahead of Smash Ultimate's release, a series of images were posted online that allegedly leaked a bunch of new fighters for the game. The images appeared to be a marketing material for Smash Ultimate, wristbands and banners and stuff like that. This massive fighter banner was shown off in the game's reveal, and as more and more fighters were announced, they were added to this banner. So seeing all new characters on this banner encouraged the idea that they were on the way. These characters were Isaac from Golden Sun, Banjo and Kazooie, Shadow the Hedgehog, Ken from Street Fighter, the Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven, Gino, and Mock Rider. The poorly censored name from the guy's Snapchat led to discovering his LinkedIn, which then led to finding his place of employment as a French graphics company. While this company stated he no longer worked for them, it was then discovered that the leak came from a different French graphics company that he worked for, which printed promotional material for Bandai Namco, the developers of Smash Ultimate. Adding to the legitimacy was the glimpse of promotional printouts for the then upcoming movie, The Grinch, which led to this leak being dubbed the Grinch leak. If these Grinch promotional materials were real, then it stands to reason that maybe the Smash materials were real as well. The community at the time was split into two groups when it came to this leak. There were those who believed the Grinch leak, but then there were those who believed a leaker known as Vergabin, who said that the Grinch leak was false. Vergabin was a credible leaker who correctly leaked information regarding Smash Ultimate as early as the game's initial reveal. Vergabin said that Ken and Incineroar were the only remaining fighters, and reveal day came, and Ken was revealed as a new fighter. This kept both groups on pins and needles for the rest of the trailer, as Ken was a DLC character. But in the end, Incineroar hopped into the ring, proving Vergabin right. Despite this, the Grinch leak has gone down in infamy as one of the crazier hoaxes, with multiple coincidences really convincing some, myself included, that it was real. The Hyrule Jump. The stage temple is infamous for its massive size. The chaos this stage brings is fantastic. It's not the only thing you can do here. The Hyrule Jump is a challenge of sorts, where you attempt to make the jump from the top right ledge down to the lowest platform. This challenge has existed since Temple's debut in Melee, but it's done in every Smash game that Temple appears in. Some characters can make it without even trying. Some take a moderate level of skill to complete, and some have to pull out all the stops. And others simply can't make it at all. The reverse Hyrule Jump is also a challenge where you try to get characters from the bottom platform to the top ledge. This is usually much more challenging, as you don't have airtime to rely on, instead needing to have really strong air movement. Far less characters are capable of completing this reverse This challenge has also spawned many other similar challenges, particularly those using the custom stage builder. These can be far more intricate, often requiring some advanced skill with certain characters to even come close. Nintendo tried to shut down EVO. The Evolution Championship Series is often considered the Super Bowl of fighting games, and as a result, having your game featured at their event is a big deal. For EVO 2013, 7 games had been selected, but an 8th spot was opened up. Rather than simply pick another game, the EVO staff decided to run a donation drive for breast cancer research. The community that raised the most money would have their game take that 8th spot. This resulted in a crazy push from many game communities, and while it was close, the Melee community rallied together and raised almost $95,000, earning themselves that 8th spot. A few days before the tournament's first day, Nintendo sent notice to the EVO staff stating that they did not want the Melee tournament streamed. It was later revealed that Nintendo wanted the entire Melee tournament completely axed, not just the stream. This didn't sit well with the community, and the fallout from this decision was a really bad PR move from Nintendo. Just a few hours later, they retracted their ban. This whole sequence is often seen as a turning point for the Melee community. The donation drive, Nintendo's ban and unban, and the actual tournament are all credited for the exponential rise in popularity that Melee saw, leading it to become the massive esport that it is today. Thumbs Up Ken. In September 2018, a new leak emerged on 4chan that claimed Ken from Street Fighter was joining Smash Ultimate. This image showed only Ken in a thumbs up pose on the Moray Tower stage. Later down the thread, the original poster shared the full uncropped image, which had Ivysaur, Pichu, and Pac-Man alongside Ken. Each
Ah.
performing taunts in what appeared to be a debug mode for the game. Initially, some
debug
aspects of
mode.
this
What if-
image were called into question, but this leak was a rare instance where everything had a valid explanation. Pichu's portrait cut off part of its ear, but this was also done in the E3 reveal trailer. Both Ken and Pac-Man's feet clip through the slope platform that they're standing on, and Ken's shadow does not appear on the metal grate. However, at this point in the pre-release cycle, Smash Ultimate
Jesus.
had routine demos available at different events, from E3 to Smash tournaments to random malls throughout the country. A Smash Sports forum user recreated the shot in the demo with substitute characters. Pikachu filled in for Pichu, and Ryu for Ken. And everything that was initially suspect proved to be actual behaviors for the real game. Of course, Ken was eventually revealed, proving this leak right. Ken's thumbs up taunt was used in another alleged leak, this time of Cacodemon and Mallow being Mii costumes. Ken was placed there as a callback to the first leak, in an attempt to persuade everyone that this was real. And naturally, this was ultimately proven false. But the use of thumbs up Ken in these posts resulted in this pose becoming a meme in its own right in the Smash community.
Alright, okay.
The chair theory. One of the more
Chair
outlandish
theory.
theories that Smash fans have come up with, chair theory is exactly as it sounds, a theory based on chairs. In the Smash Direct that took place on August 8th, 2018, Masahiro Sakurai presented new information about Smash Ultimate, and notably was on a different set. Honestly, I don't know how this one originated, but it became a rather well-circulated theory that this new background was a hint. Some believe that the chairs on the right, purple and yellow, were a nod to Waluigi becoming a fighter. Some saw the couch on the left side and noticed a similar color scheme to Skull Kid, the antagonist from Majora's Mask, and believed he would be a fighter. To support this, the chairs on the right were supposedly meant to hint at Tattle and Tail, Skull Kid's fairy friends, encouraging this theory. And some saw both of these and believed that both Waluigi and Skull Kid were on their way. And that could not have been more wrong, as both Waluigi and Skull Kid were revealed to be assist trophies.
They got disrespect.
To this day, though, some believe that the chairs were indeed a hint to something. The world of light bosses, Galeem and Darkon, who are beings of light and darkness, respectively. But even then, that feels like a stretch, man. Those were just some chairs.
Yeah,
Level 2.
Chairs.
Final smashes in Smash 64. Super Smash Bros. Brawl brought with it a game-changing mechanic: Final Smashes. By breaking a Smash Ball,
they introduced the Smash Ball Final Smashes on Brawl. They introduced that.
But Sakurai actually planned for these final smashes to be in the very first Smash entry. Unfortunately, the hardware of the Nintendo 64 made this difficult to actually implement.
Yeah,
because it to be in the game.
It's not old console.
Voice lines, which for certain characters like Captain Falcon are the very same
they
voice
couldn't
clips that
like
use
they
today.
couldn't give
And
them.
many of these clips are actually found in the game's data, and you can actually listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Falcon!
Sakurai shared that the voice lines Captain Falcon has used in every single Smash game were all recorded for his first appearance in Smash 64. The voice actor was never brought back for subsequent games. They just kept reusing the same clips that they already had. It wasn't until Min Min's reveal trailer that the Captain Falcon voice actor reprised his role for Smash. But regardless, it's crazy to imagine seeing these ultimate moves on the N64.
Yeah, that is really good. God,
Everywhere I
freaking
go,
damn
all I
it.
see is
God. Oh God, I can't. I cannot show the spider. God, man, God damn it, these ads, man, really pissing me off. Oh God, man, I hope I don't get. I mean, it didn't show like the full clip, so yeah, I think I'm good. Come on.
Luigi's new Poltergust. As we
New
talked about
Poltergust.
already, Smash is no stranger to debuting new things ahead of their actual games. And the same is true for Luigi's
that's
Mansion 3.
Luigi's new
During
grab,
the
the
reveal for
Poltergust.
Simon and Richter
I really
Belmont,
like that.
Luigi is
His
seen
rap is
running
really
around a
good
haunted
now.
castle and failing to use the Poltergust from the Luigi's
give
Mansion
him-
series.
yeah, they give him
to
a
suck up
better
the
grab.
various Castlevania
It has
games.
like the
However,
best range in
eagle-eyed
the
fans
game.
noticed right away that the Poltergust he was using sported a new design never before seen. This seemed to suggest that with a new Poltergust design, we would also be getting a new Luigi's Mansion game, as each new, and the suspicions were right, because just the next month, the Nintendo Direct would indeed announce Luigi's Mansion 3, and this new Poltergust would be officially unveiled as the Poltergust G00.
Yeah,
Master Hand and Crazy Hand are just a kid. Master Hand and Crazy
that's a
Hand
kid.
are the most well-known bosses in the Smash
Oh.
series. Master Hand was introduced in 64, with Crazy Hand joining in Melee,
Yeah.
and both making appearances in every title since. The lore that's established in Smash 64 is that these fighters are actually just a bunch of toys, and the battles that take place in the game are really just a kid playing around in his room. The opening of the game explicitly tells us this. Well, following that logic, Master Hand and Crazy Hand could both be that kid fighting against his own toys. Rather than being some wild, crazy floating hand god things, it's just the kid's crazy imagination. I guess that means the opening of World of Light is that kid bringing over all of his friends just to beat the crap out of his stuffed animals.
That could be
Master Hand is playable in Melee. Thanks to a weird glitch in Melee, you can advance to the stage select screen in a versus match without actually picking a character. Oftentimes, people will do this to practice their movement with just a single character on screen. However, if you do this with player slot 3, that slot will spawn into the match playing as Master Hand. That player can perform all of Master Hand's moves, though instead of using a typical Smash Bros. Moveset, you use odd combinations of the face buttons and D-pad. But all of his moves are there, from the lasers to the rocket to just the big smack attack. And if you don't do this in stamina mode, Master Hand can simply never die because he doesn't take any knockback. The reason for this seems to be that Master Hand is the default character and the failsafe if a character isn't loaded into a match. But this only happens for player 3 because in single player mode, Master Hand during the fight is coded as player 3. Melee Online for Wii. When the Nintendo Wii was officially unveiled in 2005, then Nintendo President Satoru Iwata discussed the online capabilities that would be coming to the console, and one of the games he highlighted was Super Smash Bros. This surprised Masahiro Sakurai as he hadn't even heard news of a new Smash game, much less been asked to work on it. But the next day, Iwata met with Sakurai to formally ask him to develop this new game, and the Denim Smash we all know and love was made. But what if Sakurai had said no? Well, Iwata had a backup plan. Instead of an all-new Smash game, Nintendo would simply port Melee to the Wii, give it online functionality, likely with some new control schemes, throw it into widescreen, and call it a day. Yes, the Smash Bros. Lifespan could have been very, very different if Sakurai had simply said the word no.
Yeah, it would be
way different. A month ahead of the release of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, a leak surfaced on 4chan that talked about how the 3DS version of the game would interact with the Wii U version. Up to this point, we were still unsure how the two would connect. Nintendo simply stated that they would. This leak claimed that 5 secret characters would unlock when the two versions were connected: Ridley, Chorus Kids, Dixie Kong, Mewtwo, and Impa. It also mentioned which stages would appear in both versions and some miscellaneous other game modes. However, the biggest part of this leak had to do with a brand new mode, the Tower of Smash. This leak claimed that the mode featured a 104 tower where you would pick 4 characters, essentially serving as 4 lives, and you would enter a gauntlet of one-on-one matches and boss battles with varying rules and gimmicks in a push to reach the top floor. This would result in various rewards, and the mode as a whole would essentially replace event matches. Honestly, it's a really creative idea, regardless of it being completely fake. Roy and Ryu were data mined. Prior to the official announcement of Roy and Ryu in Smash 4, files were discovered in version 1.0.6 of Smash for 3DS, indicating that these characters would be in the game. These files were specifically their victory themes, which had likely been accidentally included in the patch update. Other DLC information was discovered that suggested future DLC fighters and the return of the Dreamland stage from Smash 64. The same data miner was then able to actually download version 1.0.8 before its official release, which had both Roy and Ryu's files in it. He began showing things off on Twitter, from classic mode videos to art, costumes, and trophies. Lucas was also included in this update, but this was at least a character that had been officially announced. Roy and Ryu still weren't revealed. Eventually, another data miner was able to edit his game and place the DLC fighters data over Mario, allowing him to play these characters early in a weird roundabout way. The stream highlights were uploaded to YouTube and covered by big Smash News channels, and Nintendo would copy strike all of these, blocking them worldwide. Eventually, Roy and Ryu were revealed and released on the very same day alongside Lucas, which explains why the 1.0.8 patch had their files ready to go. But this would serve as an important lesson for Nintendo on the lengths that people will go to in order to play characters early. 15 missing stages. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has an
15
ungodly amount
missing
of stages, both new and returning. But
Yeah.
there are actually 15 past stages that are completely missing from Ultimate,
Yeah.
lost to time in
Yeah,
their home games.
those
And some of
stages.
these
Yeah,
make
because they didn't put
sense.
every
Sector
stage.
Z from Smash 64 was spiritually replaced by Corneria and Melee and
Yeah,
Onward.
I
It's the
like
same
Sector
effective
Z.
concept,
Sector
just has a slightly
64.
different execution. But then there are some like Woolly World or Orbital Gate Assault that really don't have much reason to be missing. They just are. One of the
Yeah.
most tragic losses was the Miiverse stage. Originally, this was in
Oh
Smash
yeah,
Bros. U
yeah,
as a
because the
complement to the
Miiverse
Social
shut
Network,
down.
where different posts could appear in the
Uh,
background corresponding
Yeah,
to
the
the characters
Miiverse
being
doesn't even
used.
exist
Miiverse
anymore. I
as a
think.
network was officially shut down
Yeah.
in 2017, so it wouldn't make sense to bring this over to
Yeah,
Ultimate.
it would
But
not
man,
make sense to
that
bring
was
it back.
an insane time to be
Man, it
playing
was,
Smash.
man. Because of like
Bowser,
weird stuff with
Mewtwo,
those.
and King Dedede in Smash 64.
Oh,
I mentioned Marth being considered for Smash 64 earlier, but there were also 3 more characters planned or partially developed for the first Smash Bros. Title. Bowser was planned to be in the final game, with Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto even name-dropping him as a playable character during an interview. King Dedede and Mewtwo were also planned to be playable, however time constraints required them to be scrapped. Outside of Miyamoto's interview, these 3 were confirmed to be scrapped fighters in an informal poll on the Japanese Smash Bros. Site. Players could vote for their most wanted fighter in a hypothetical Smash 2, and a footnote confirmed these 3 were intended for the game. Wario
Hey.
and Melee.
Wario
Super
and
Smash
Melee.
Bros. Melee had an incredibly short development cycle, lasting only 13 months. And despite the sheer amount of content this
13
game
months.
has, not everything made it in. Sakurai has gone on the record saying that if he could include just one more character into Melee's roster, it would have been Wario. In retrospect, it's very clear that he was next on the list, as he's one of the earliest characters revealed for the next game's roster. But he likely would have been a very different Wario had he made it into Melee. In Brawl, he is famously based on his WarioWare incarnation.
Yeah,
That series
WarioWare.
didn't exist until after Melee's release. So
Oh
a
yeah,
Melee
yeah, because
Wario
Wario
would
did
have
not.
largely been
Wario
based on
denied
the
it
Wario
at
Land
that time.
series,
Did not.
which would have resulted in a quite different moveset.
Yeah, it would be.
Trophy secrets. Trophies are a treasure
Yeah, MLA Wario should have his moves should be based off of the Wario Land games. So yeah,
trove in the Smash series, featuring different aspects
Those
of
guys
various
look like
game
Pokeballs.
series and also highlighting lesser
Oh,
known
Voltorbs, I
series.
mean.
But some of these trophies have even tinier secrets that you may have never known about. Reflections for 3D models often hide secrets because developers have to specify what the game must reflect. Metal Mario's trophy in Melee is a good example of this. If you take a look at the textures for this model, the reflection image being used is actually a metallic screenshot of the Yoshi's Island stage. The Ayumi Tachibana trophy also uses an odd
I don't
reflection
know what that
texture,
is.
though this one is a kind of scary face of a cat.
Oh.
Fire Kirby features an even scarier baby face.
The
And the
hell?
Metroid trophy uses a small section of the Super Metroid title screen, which is cute.
Oh.
On the Metroid Assist trophy in Brawl, there's actually a hidden sprite of a Mr. Saturn from the Earthbound series in a place not linked to anything on the model. It
Oh.
not appeared during actual gameplay. This was
Didn't
probably
know
just a
that.
developer who likes Earthbound having some fun, since Metroid and Earthbound don't really have any solid connection. And
Yeah,
finally,
they
if
don't.
you zoom in on this trophy of Daisy and Melee, you can clip right through her head, and if you manipulate the camera just right, you can find that she has a secret third eye.
What?
No idea why she has this,
what?
but you can actually go ahead and whip out this
What?
fact next time you boot up Tinder.
I didn't even know that.
Nintendo leaked
That's
their own
cursed.
fighters. Leaks are
You have
always a
to throw it, what
mainstay
the
with
hell?
Smash Brothers games, whether they end up
Dude.
fake or completely legitimate.
I didn't know
but
that.
very seldom is Nintendo the culprit for the leaks. There are 2 instances where that was the case, though, and the Big N essentially leaked whole fighters prior to their reveals. The Smash Ultimate website prior to the game's release used to update periodically with little bits of info, and sometimes they would reveal short samples of songs. On August 7th, 2018, the video on the site that was previously titled Galaga Medley was mistakenly renamed to Bloody Tears / Monster Dance, the titles of 2 Castlevania tracks. This of course pointed to the fact that a Castlevania fighter would be joining Smash. The video title was then later corrected. Literally the next day, August 8th, Simon and Richter Belmont were revealed as fighters. While many would correctly predict either one of these Belmonts, it was still a surprise to receive them both in the same game at once,
Yeah.
so the fun wasn't completely spoiled. Something similar happened again, though this time with DLC. At the time, it was
DLC.
still unknown who the 4th and 5th Fighters Pass fighters would be. The Nintendo of Europe website was updated with a new page for the 4th fighter. At the bottom of the page was the copyright information for everything related to Smash, but notable this time was a new one, SNK Corporation. This led to widespread speculation that the next fighter was from SNK, with Terry Bogard being the general assumption. Others thought that the copyright information might have been mistakenly copy-pasted from another game on the website, SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy.
I never
But
heard
a
of
few
that.
days later, Terry was officially revealed, confirming that this was indeed an unintended leak by Nintendo. Joker's render was leaked. After Joker was revealed as a fighter at the Game Awards, we went a long time without news. We got a brief tease at his model during a Nintendo Direct, but we were all anxious for any bit of news. On the back end, Nintendo obviously sends different retailers and storefronts graphics to use for their websites, and Best Buy is no exception. But they made a bit of an oopsie and accidentally posted Joker's render right on their website nearly a month early. It might not seem like a big deal now, since you can see this anytime you damn well please, but at the time, it was huge for the community to see Joker's render earlier than Nintendo wanted us to.
Yeah.
The ESRB leak. In late 2014, a thread on 4chan was started asking everyone who they thought would be in the game and who would be cut. A second user took the original poster's template, crossed off a bunch of fighters, and overlaid some brand new images for fighters that had not yet been seen before. Later on, they posted 2 more images, highlighting the renders for Ness and the Duck Hunt dog, and the entire unlocked roster. Even more images were posted, showing off the stage select screen, customs menu, Shulk and Dr. Mario renders, and a second look at the character select screen. These images were highly analyzed and debated. Some felt the images were modified from other pre-existing assets and relied on the low quality of screenshots to make them seem more convincing. The most notable debate was about Shulk's render, which some people claimed was just a heavily edited image.
Oh my god!
Resulted in the meme,
Dude, they look the same. Oh, I
then headed over to the GameFAQs forum.
They actually look the same though. Oh my god!
With the general opinion becoming that these were simply Photoshopped. However, YouTube videos would soon be posted of actual gameplay, something that is much harder to fake. This was the footage that the previously posted images were taken from, which caused people to believe once again. To add to the fire, Nintendo of America would issue copyright takedowns of
Nintendo always like
does this. Slowly, everything started pointing to this
out yet,
real, with menus, cosmetics, and animations
already,
and Shulk's eventual reveal sealed this leak's legitimacy. It was eventually discovered that the leaker was somehow connected to the ESRB, the ratings board used in the United States and Canada, and this eventually became coined the ESRB leak, the biggest leak in the entire Smash series that was completely true. The Fighter Ballot. During a Nintendo Direct on April 1st, 2015, it was revealed that the Smash Bros. Website would be updated with a new feature, the Smash Bros. Fighter Ballot. This was a form that could be filled out by players that would allow them to vote for a character that they would want in the Smash Bros. Series. At the time, this was implied to be for new DLC fighters for Smash for 3DS. Cloud was stated to be the most requested Final Fantasy character, and Bayonetta was specifically cited as the #1 choice worldwide. But see that funny little asterisk down there? They specifically say realizable characters, and many felt that this was some very specific language. And years later, we would ultimately learn why they used some legalese on us here. Sakurai revealed that Sora was actually the most requested fighter on the fighter ballot, and that Banjo and Kazooie followed Sora. This seems to suggest that the fighter ballot data was actually used to influence the fighter choices for Smash Ultimate. The project proposal for Ultimate was presented the very same day the final Smash 4 presentation took place, so there was a bit of overlap on development of both, so the timing lines up pretty well. The Sephiroth Challenge. At the end of the livestream presentation showcasing the fighter Sephiroth joining Smash Ultimate, a new mode was highlighted. This mode was the Sephiroth Challenge, an exclusive for anyone who purchased the character ahead of the official release date. This mode was only available from December 17th to December 22nd.
Yeah, I remember those.
The mode featured a fight against Sephiroth with easy, normal, and very hard difficulties. You could then fight against Sephiroth, and if you defeat him, regardless of difficulty, he would be unlocked early. This mode could be freely replayed until its removal on the 22nd, which caused a minor speedrun craze in the community.
I find this really crazy. I find
this mode is no longer accessible, leaving it as some of the only lost media in the entire Super Smash Bros. Series.
Yeah, lost media.
Swim damage. In Brawl, Smash for Wii U, and Ultimate, characters can swim on stages that have water. There are only a handful of stages that feature swimmable water across all of these games, and each have their own quirks. However, new to Smash Ultimate is the concept of swim damage, where certain fighters will gradually gain percent just by being in the water. Only 4 total characters have this quirk, determined by factors from their home series. and Incineroar are both fire-type Pokemon.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, I find this pretty cool. Yeah, these guys are the only one that takes damage. Because they're Pokemon. Because fire Pokemon's weakness is against water.
And naturally, the water type is super effective against fire.
Yeah.
Inkling also takes wind damage.
Yeah, because
in the Splatoon series,
take damage.
Inklings are splatted when they fall
Yeah,
into water. This is generally used as a hazard in
splatted.
multiplayer matches, marking the bounds of the stage.
Yeah,
the final character to take wind damage is Sonic.
Yeah,
this
makes
mostly
sense.
seems to be done to
Because
lean
Sonic-
into the joke about Sonic and water levels.
Yeah, because
While
Sonic
in his
doesn't
own
like
series, water
because
doesn't
Sonic.
inherently damage Sonic. He only
Yeah.
has so much time underwater
But
before
he
a timer
drowns.
begins, causing him to drown if he doesn't replenish his air supply. And paired with that infamous and anxiety,
so Sonic doesn't like water. Doesn't like go to the
Rayman
water.
stuck in ice. On Smash
Stuck in
Ultimate's
ice, stuck in
Battlefield
ice.
stage,
Oh,
there
yeah.
are huge
Oh, yeah,
shards
Rayman
of
stuck in
ice
ice. Yeah,
jutting out
I
of the
don't
lead
know about
platform in
this.
the background. This is a nice aesthetic for the stage, and most people simply took it as it is.
Yeah, it was
just
only a
ice.
cameo.
But before Smash Ultimate's release, there were some people who swore that there was actually a secret in the ice, that Rayman was frozen inside one of the bigger shards, and
Yeah.
he'll eventually bust out and be revealed as a fighter. Now, I can kind of see what they're seeing here. If you tell yourself to look for Rayman, you can make out his head with his eyes
Yeah, it
closed
is,
and a purple
yeah.
chunk that looks to be his hoodie.
Yeah.
And while it's a fun theory, it's just not one that, even back then, really made much sense. Like, sure, maybe if they left it as a hint in reveal trailers and then Rayman was formally revealed, but most people didn't even see this until the game was already out and we knew the entire base roster. And if Rayman was DLC, they would have to include Ubisoft in the copyright information just for this sole appearance, basically both confirming and spoiling his reveal. It really is insane that this ice appears to have Rayman on the inside, but all it is an optical illusion. Level 3.
Level 3.
Problematic Mr. Game & Watch.
Mr. Game
With
&
Smash
Watch.
Ultimate's release, many of Mr. Game & Watch's animations were changed to be more faithful to their source material. While in past
and
games,
Ultimate,
Game & Watch would keep
yeah,
the same
they
body,
buff him.
this
They
time
buff
his
him in
sprite would
Ultimate.
change form fully depending on
He
the
is so
move
good.
and its origin. This meant that for his forward smash attack, which came from the game Fire Attack, he changed into a person with an angry face and what seems to be a feather on his head. This new sprite received some criticism, stating that it was an offensive portrayal of Native American people. When asked for comment, Nintendo of America apologized and stated that they had already planned on releasing a launch day patch that removes the feather.
Yeah.
This portrayal was based on a
Of course, because that's offensive, man. Yeah, there you go. You remove
this
the
version
feather.
of Mr. Game & Watch
Yeah,
is
because
still
it's
the one loaded
offensive.
on the cartridge, meaning if you don't download any update data, you can still see it today. The Forbidden 7. Deep inside the data in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, we can find evidence that 7 additional fighters were, at the very least, planned for the game. All of their names can be found in the files, and some were straight up confirmed by Sakurai in interviews. The first 3 were Mewtwo, Roy, and Dr. Mario, all returning from Melee. Dr. Mario and Roy were basic clone characters, so it's easy to see why they were ultimately scrapped. Mewtwo, on the other hand, was an original character, but it's speculated that he was replaced by Lucario in the roster. Dixie Kong was also planned for the game. Originally, Diddy and Dixie were intended to be a 2-in-1 character, with the player controlling both.
But never happened.
Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. This proved to be difficult from a programming perspective, so they settled on Diddy Kong being a solo fighter, scrapping Dixie entirely.
Yeah,
then we have both Toon Zelda and Toon Sheik, intended to be added alongside Toon Link from Wind Waker. Toon Zelda is straightforward, using her design as it appears in the Wind Waker. However, Toon Sheik is still sort of a mystery. There's the possibility that this would have been Tetra, the alter ego of Princess Zelda in Wind Waker. But if that's the case, why wouldn't they use her actual name instead of Sheik? There's also speculation that Smash would have completely invented an original Toon Sheik design, since Sheik doesn't exist anywhere in the Toon style game. Finally,
Sheik
does not exist. Pra_mod.
On the
There's some debate
like
about
there.
this fighter. The general consensus is that this would have been a 2-in-1 fighter for the Generation 3 Pokemon, Plusle and Minot. Pra_Mai could stem from their Japanese names, or it could come from a Japanese phrase that means plus or minus, which is essentially the whole gimmick of these two Pokemon. There's still a ton of mystery around these 7 fighters, and together they became known among the Smash community as the Forbidden 7. Steve's Meat. When Minecraft Steve was released for Smash Ultimate, many were quick to notice something off about one of his victory animations. In this animation, Steve eats a piece of steak and then strikes a pose, but he continues to hold on to the steak in the stack. So in execution, he kind of looks like he's holding on to a phallic object. And of course,
What?
it's the internet, so this kind of thing would get noticed right away. In version
God.
9.0.1 of Smash Ultimate, this animation was patched so that the stake now disappears once finally.
Yeah,
It's
there you
unclear
go.
whether this was patched because of the lewd appearance or because this was always the intended animation.
Yeah.
But either way, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
of course,
funny.
people modded the game immediately to revert this
Yeah, there
animation
you
back
go.
to the original.
They might. It's
Perfect Dark and GoldenEye 007 in Smash. In
Oh.
Smash 64, there was an item known as the motion sensor bomb, which would be placed and activated before exploding when a character got near.
The bomb.
The
The
appearance of
mine
this item
bombs.
comes from GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
In the jump to
I never
Melee,
played
the
GoldenEye.
motion sensor bomb's appearance was replaced by the design for the proximity mine, an item found in Perfect Dark. However, this was only done in the Japanese version. In the international release of Melee, this item's appearance was kept as the original
bottle fell off or
GoldenEye
whatever.
design. There's also a cloaking device
I'll
item
clean it
in
up
Melee,
later.
which will turn the player invisible, which is also from Perfect Dark. In the Japanese version of Melee, these items are specifically stated to be from Perfect Dark. However, internationally, both of the items, even though
Top
they've changed,
secret.
are simply listed as coming from a top secret game. Sakurai stated that this change was done to comply with rating standards outside of Japan. In America, for example, T-rated games aren't allowed to include content found in M-rated games, so the M-rated Perfect Dark had to be censored.
Yeah,
Still, that doesn't explain the removal of GoldenEye's title in the trophy section internationally, since both Melee and GoldenEye are rated teen. Melee's test stage.
Yeah, there are. And Melee's
Inside of
test
Melee's
stage.
files, you can find a secret stage that's simply named Test, obviously meant for testing purposes. If you mod the game to boot into this stage, you can see it's a ridiculously long set of basic platforms that don't even have any textures. There's some ice physics and different heights and types of floating platforms as well. Most interesting, though, is the background image, obviously just thrown in there so it wasn't completely black. For years, many people thought that this image was of a cafe near the offices where Melee was developed, or a regular haunt of one of the developers. But it was actually discovered to simply be an image of the now shut down Cafe Verona in Palo Alto, California. And rather than being an image taken by anyone associated with Smash, it was just a default placeholder image found in the 3D modeling software that was used by the developers.
Wow.
Brawl's damage system. An abandoned feature of Super Smash Bros. Brawl was the idea of battle damage. Sakurai revealed in an interview that they had a system where swords or equipment would break after a while and would only be fixed after you respawned. You could also physically see the damage on certain characters, like cracked armor. This was meant to be a balancing mechanic of sorts. If a player could live for a long time, they would have to continue the fight at a bigger disadvantage, giving others the chance to make a comeback. There are textures in the game from when this was intended to make the cut. Meta Knight has a shattered mask, Captain Falcon a broken helmet, Link's shield has a bunch of cracks in it. Link, Marth, and Ike all have shattered sword textures, and Lucas' stick also has textures for your
I like that.
This mechanic was ultimately scrapped due to a lack of time, since it would take additional man-hours to code this feature into the game to make alternate textures.
Never make it. That would be really cool, man.
Since Brawl's development was already stretched pretty thin, it makes sense that they would cut this for
Brawl. Yeah, the time Brawl.
A remnant of this mechanic does still exist in Little Mac. When Little Mac reaches over 100% damage, his model will be updated with bandages and some bruises on his face. This references a similar visual battle damage feature in the Punch-Out series. In Ultimate, this has no impact on Little Mac's abilities. It's purely an aesthetic change, and a pretty minor one at that, but it was definitely born out of the abandoned Brawl mechanic. Pepsi Man.
Pepsi
Man? Game that would eventually become Super Smash Bros. Began development, it didn't have any Nintendo characters in it at all. It was meant to be its own type of fighting game, and as the actual gameplay was being fleshed out, the character models were pretty much these blank mannequins that used different colors. Many people will know that this game was originally titled Ryo, or Dragon King, the fighting game. However, this was the game's second name. The initial code name for this game was Pepsi Man.
Yeah, I remember
Pepsi
seeing
Man was a
that.
mascot for Pepsi Japan. He had multiple appearances.
I remember seeing that. This image here. Yeah, this I do remember.
Was Pepsi Man.
Yeah,
Pepsi Man was a mascot for Pepsi Japan. He had multiple appearances, but was mostly a sort of blank guy used to advertise for Pepsi. They even made a Pepsi Man video game for PlayStation, which was not released outside Japan.
Forget there was a
However,
freaking Pepsi Man game
between Pepsi Man and the mannequin characters used for Dragon King gave Sakurai inspiration for this codename, and they would refer to it as Pepsi Man.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet.
Onet's Rice Ball. We've already talked about a stage Easter egg
Rice
in this
Ball,
video, but that one can be found during normal gameplay. This next one, though, found in Melee and Brawl, can only be found using hacks. On the Onet stage, if you use a free cam mod that allows you to move the camera anywhere, you can aim it for this particular bush. Just behind the bush is a rice ball, or as we Westerners call them,
Jelly-filled donut.
like I
Jelly
said, this
filled
is in
donut.
both Melee and Brawl. However, in the upgrade to HD with Smash for Wii U and Ultimate, this rice ball is tragically missing. I guess someone just got really hungry and decided to eat it,
Yeah,
even though
I mean,
it's been on the ground for a decade.
Yeah. Got it.
Scrapped
I
Rhythm
think it
Heaven
tastes
Fighter.
bad.
In the data for Smash for Wii U, a database of fighter
go for so
emblems
long
can
there.
be found, which the game accesses for use across the whole game. These are typically categorized first by game series, and then the reps from that series are inside. Among all of the actually used series names, an unused Rhythm series exists, completely empty. At the time, a well-known leak called the Gamatsu leak cited that the Chorus Kids were going to be a fighter in the game. This leak got most things right, but it had a handful of inaccuracies. There are some that speculate that this leak was genuinely real, but it was based on quite old information that the developers changed later down the line. With these two things combined, many conclude that the Chorus Kids were indeed meant to be an actual fighter in the game, but were scrapped for an unknown reason. But at the very least, we can assume that some kind of Rhythm Heaven fighter was originally planned based on the icon's existence.
Yeah, Rhythm.
Japan exclusive
I'd really like to see
trophies.
Rhythm Heaven.
There are 3 total trophies in Super Smash Bros. Melee that, unless you live in Japan, are impossible to unlock. Well, you could mod your game or use cheat codes to get these, but that doesn't really count. 2 of these trophies could only be received by going to in-person events. A Toys R Us Smash tournament took place in Japan in 2002, and one of the activities at the event allowed players to bring their GameCube memory cards and receive exclusive trophies. Mario and Yoshi, using their in-game models but based on their Super Mario World appearance, and Samus Unmasked, her earliest appearance in 3D. The third trophy is a basic unlockable exclusive to the Japanese game. The Tamagon trophy comes from the also Japanese exclusive game Devil World, which Melee incorrectly calls Demon World. This NES game was never released in North America because Nintendo of America had strict content policies surrounding religious iconography.
I don't know about. I don't only know that guy for Melee as a trophy.
The unlock criteria has been disabled. Oddly though, Europe did get Devil World, but the trophy was completely removed from the disc in their version of Melee.
Rip.
The depths. Unused music in Brawl. Back to data found in Brawl, there are quite a few background songs that ultimately didn't make the cut. While all of these songs are empty and thus can't be played, we can still gather a bit of information about what these tracks would be. As big a game as Smash is, the developers need to ensure they stay organized, and so every track contains a prefix that indicates the series it comes from, followed by a short name for the actual track. As a result, most tracks give us some information to work with. For example, this track. The A prefix is set for all Mario series tracks, and the MLRPG02 suggests that this is the Mario and Luigi series. In Japan, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time is known as Mario and Luigi RPG 2x2. So
that was the second game
this
from
would have
the
been a
series.
track from Partners in Time, though which one is unknown. Many of these only give us a hint at what series or game this would come from, but there are a surprising number that didn't end up being used. It's unclear why they went unused, but the easy answer is possibly file size limitations, though in some instances there could have been copyright concerns as well.
Yeah, probably not.
Toby Fox played competitive Melee. The
Toby
creator
Fox.
of the massively successful Undertale, Toby Fox, used to be a part of the competitive Melee community. He appeared on a competitive Melee-focused podcast starring the Show to talk both about his time in the Melee community.
I think I remember seeing
During the
this here.
podcast, he mentioned a tournament set that was actually recorded, where he competed under the tag Radiation. This particular set was just 1 year prior to Undertale's initial release. Years later, Sans from Undertale would appear in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a Mii Fighter costume, bundled with an exclusive remix of the track Megalovania by Toby Fox himself. During one of these Sakurai Presents streams, Sakurai shared that Toby Fox actually got to visit him at his house, where they talked about both Smash and Undertale, and played Smash Ultimate together, where the two were about equal skill level. As a Smash fan, this had to be an insane full circle moment for Toby Fox, where he went from a fan of the game to playing with the creator and having his original character included in the series. Sheik listed before Smash Ultimate's character roster is sorted by each character's fighter number. This can be found. Smash Ultimate's character roster is sorted by each character's fighter number. This can be found on the Smash Ultimate Companion website, where each fighter is sorted in order. A really strange quirk about Zelda and Sheik, though, is that Sheik is actually listed as number 16, while Zelda is number 17.
Yeah.
This seems backwards when you consider the
Yeah,
history
it
of
is
the two
backwards.
characters. Zelda appeared as early as the first
Yeah, she
Zelda game
appeared
in
first.
1996, while Sheik didn't debut until Ocarina of
Yeah,
Time in
Ocarina of Time.
1998. Well, it all has to do with the reveals of each fighter. If we go back to the reveal of Super Smash Bros. Melee in 2001, we only get hints or glimpses of both Sheik and Zelda until this very moment. And in this scene,
Yeah.
Sheik is formally revealed, and it isn't until this scene a few seconds later that Zelda makes her first actual appearance. So,
Yeah.
based on the reveal trailer, Sheik showed up before Zelda, but just
Oh, yeah,
barely.
yeah.
And if you track
Yeah.
the rest of the fighter
No,
roster,
yeah, no,
their
see.
order pretty much lines up perfectly with their
That
formal
makes
reveals.
sense.
So it has nothing to do with when the developers formally decided on adding them to the game, but rather when they were actually shown to the general public. That one guy's broken copy of Smash 4.
Hmm?
On the Smash for Wii U Miiverse community, a user named T-Man posted a sort of
Oh,
weird
God.
screenshot of
The
Yoshi
hell is that?
and asked for help because every single character looked like this.
That's
He
cursed.
continued to post different screenshots of
Oh,
this game with
God.
different characters on Miiverse, begging for
What
any
the
advice.
hell is
Later on, he would start filming some of his gameplay showing these models off. And
Oh my.
indeed, literally every single character in the game was broken,
Dude.
including DLC. It's possible his console
God.
broke because allegedly
Yeah, I
he purchased a
guess.
second copy of
Bro,
the
yeah,
game.
broken.
This issue
And,
continued to
and
happen
everyone
no matter
basically
what.
messed
And
up.
I don't
and-
think anybody has ever come forward able to replicate this.
God,
So this
what was
guy's
that kid
copy
idea?
or his Wii U is just unique.
Yeah.
Smash's oldest rep.
Oh, it is
The
rap.
Smash series is no stranger to very old representation, always finding creative ways to include gaming history
for
where they
battle.
can. When Pac-Man was revealed, he was touted as tying for the oldest fighter in the Smash roster, with him and Mr. Game & Watch debuting in 1980. However,
Yeah,
outside of just
they
the fighter
debuted.
roster, we have even older representation. Colored TV Game
right.
15 is an
Yeah,
assist
they-
trophy based on a game
they debuted
console
the same year.
released by Nintendo in 1977. This was effectively a Pong clone, which was a common trend for game manufacturers in the 70s
Uh-huh.
after the release of the original Pong. And the next
Pong.
oldest rep, which is an actual character this time
Oh,
around,
Sheriff.
is Sheriff, the player character from the game Sheriff, which was released in 1979. It's really cool that Smash often looks at
That's so
newer
old.
franchises, but including some of the oldest Nintendo properties truly makes this feel like a celebration of gaming. Jane's Ponytail. In a data
James
mine of
Ponytail?
Smash Ultimate prior to Joker's release, files using the codename Jack were discovered and later
Jack.
determined to be for Joker. Not much of this data mine resulted in anything too interesting, but it was still cool to see these files early. However, one file was discovered that did have some interesting implications. This string includes a reference to Jane, as well as what appears to be
Okay, we'll only
reference
have
to a ponytail
some
hair
minutes
system.
left.
The file extensions in this string are also from the 3D modeling program Maya, with .mchp specifically being in regards to hair. The C06 also in the string is the format for character costumes, starting at C00 and going to C07. This suggests that the ponytail system was for costume number 7 out of 8. Also around this time, Persona 5 Royal had just been teased, and in that teaser, a new character was shown off. She was a female phantom thief who just so happened to have a ponytail. Putting these two together,
Uh-huh.
it became highly speculated that Joker was going to have this new female character as an alternate costume, kind of like Olimar and Alf or Hero. But Joker was showcased and released, and this Jane was nowhere to be found, and in fact doesn't seem to be used in the game at all. Many
Yeah.
still theorize that this female alternate, Kasumi, was originally intended for the game, but for some reason was left on the cutting room floor.
Yep. Rip.
Captain Falcon's unused gun. In
What?
every single Super Smash Bros. Game, Captain
Oh, yeah.
Falcon has a holster with a gun in it
Oh, yeah,
that he
yeah.
straight up does not use in his moveset. In
Yeah.
Smash 64, this was just a
Yeah, I
triangle,
don't know.
but from
I don't
Melee
know that,
onward,
to be
there's an
honest.
actual
Why
pistol
you
in
never
it.
use it?
This actually comes from his appearance in the F-Zero series, but I guess it makes sense that he isn't just using his gun randomly in
Yeah.
a racing game.
Yeah, why do
he
you have
does
it
use
for?
it in the instruction manual for F-Zero, but really,
Oh,
that's it.
really?
Though when making
Wow.
his Smash moveset,
Only on
you'd
the
think they would
comics?
see that gun and immediately think of ways to use it for an attack. But I guess Captain Falcon wants to do damage right now, right this second, and the guns are just too slow for him.
Yeah.
Sans unused
Yeah, he doesn't
eye.
need guns.
When Sans was added
Use
to Smash
eye.
Ultimate as a Mii Fighter costume, people of course immediately dove into his files. They discovered that on the Sans costume's hat, there's a strange section on his textures. We can see a bright blue section right here, which goes completely unused in the final costume.
Oh.
However, its location seems to suggest that it would have been around his eye, suggesting that his famous blue eye was at some point going to be a part of his costume. There's also an additional image that Smash Ultimate uses that suggests this section would have glowed brightly, similar to his Gaster Blaster arm. It's unclear why this wasn't used in the final costume, though it's speculated that this could have been used for the Perfect Shield or Final Smash eyes. Melee's
Alright.
Topi Trophy. Localization
Topi
happens
Trophy.
with every game, but this one is a little unexpected. In the Japanese version of Melee, a little blue seal enemy appears on the Icicle Mountain stage in the game's adventure mode, and occasionally out of boxes in Versus mode. These seals are called Topis, and naturally they originate from the Ice Climber series. In international versions of this game, however, the Topi enemy is changed from the seal to this small Yeti-looking creature.
Yeah.
This is done everywhere in the game,
weird.
from the actual enemy to its collectible trophy. This change actually stems from the Ice Climber game itself. In the Japanese version of the NES game, these enemies are the seals, while internationally they are Yetis. This change was possibly done to avoid controversy concerning seal hunting. It's possible seal hunting was also the concern when they made this change for Smash, or it's possible that they just wanted to keep the Topi's appearance consistent depending on the region.
Seals. Seal would not make.
Flying men are enemies found in
they
the
would not make
Earthbound
no
series,
sense.
specifically found in the land of Magicant. A Magicant stage was created for Smash for 3DS, and the flying men make an appearance as a stage hazard. Players can
ultimately he doesn't.
enemies on their
Does he
path.
have
In
all
the final version of the game, the flying men simply use their 2D sprites from Earthbound. However, this wasn't always the case. A pre-release screenshot of the Magicant stage reveals a 3D model of the flying man alongside its 2D sprites, fighting next to the Fit Trainer and Mario. During a few interviews, Sakurai shared that the original plan was for the flying man to appear as a 3D model. However, this puts some strain on the 3DS hardware. As a result, they instead went with the 2D sprites, which they concluded looked better anyway. However, they already made the 3D model, and it would have been a shame for it to go to waste. So instead, they made some modifications and ended up repurposing the model as a costume for the
As a costume.
The Ice Climbers chant. As everyone knows, the Ice Climbers had to unfortunately be cut from Smash for 3DS and Wii U. This is because Sakurai wanted both fighter rosters to be exactly the same, and while they worked just fine on the Wii U, they couldn't get the Ice Climbers functioning on the 3DS. They definitely tried, but in the end, it was just too strenuous for the hardware. But a remnant of their work on the Ice Climbers still exists. A glitch was discovered by a player during a match where they played as Villager against 3 enemy Dr. Marios. A chant begins, but instead of being either Villager or Dr. Mario being shouted out, instead they chant Nana and Popo.
Yeah, Popo. What? They were not even in Smash Bros.
To say that this is not meant to be in the game, and it's an incredibly random.
That is random as heck.
Result in the chant in the first place. But still, it's pretty cool to see a tiny leftover of their work trying to get the Ice Climbers to work on 3DS. Lightsaber sound effects. The beam sword is an item that has appeared in every single Smash Bros. Game. Its first appearance, of course, in Smash 64. Largely inspired by Star Wars lightsabers and other similar sci-fi weapons, it feels perfectly natural in the Smash Bros. Item roster. But in Smash 64, the connection was even closer. In the Japanese version of the game, the sound effects used for the beam sword were nearly identical to those used in the Star Wars franchise. But for the international release of the game, these sound effects were changed to have a similar vibe, but not sound as similar.
Man. I mean, I prefer like the.
It's possible this was done to avoid any copyright disputes.
Were
used without
it's copyright. Yeah.
Smash, they probably
they don't want to get copyright by Star Wars.
The issue entirely. Alternatively, they may have wanted to avoid players
Disney didn't own Star Wars at the time there.
Smash.
Back then.
Sakurai playing Smash. And now let's end on a fun one.
Oh,
on a Japanese television
playing
program,
Smash?
the Super Smash Bros. Brawl Challenge was issued to one of the participants. However, instead of playing against a random person like she originally thought, Sakurai makes a surprise appearance and reveals that he is her opponent. She plays Lucas, while Sakurai ironically chooses Ganondorf, the undisputed worst character in all
picked the
Brawl.
worst character.
The match appears close and
Sakurai.
ends in a sudden death scenario where Sakurai emerges victorious. It's not often we get to see Sakurai actually playing Smash against people. More often, he's talking about the game itself and playing in the single-player mode.
That's cool.
But we did get to see this one other time. At E3 2018, the Nintendo Treehouse team hosted streams all throughout the event of the new games that they revealed. And of course, one of these was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. For the first showcase segment, several Nintendo employees played Smash alongside Sakurai, showcasing new stages, characters, and items. In the first match, Sakurai played Link, and in the second, he played Ike, and he ended up winning both sets. It was kind of a rare opportunity to see Sakurai in true gamer mode. And that is the Super Smash Bros.
Okay, yeah, that was a cool.
If you made it
that
this
last
far,
one
I
was
would
really
love
cool.
to know how deep
Sakurai
down
can
the
appear
iceberg
on-
you were
yeah,
able to
yeah, I
make it,
find that
where you
really
still
cool.
knew all of the information. And let me know which fact was your favorite. And also, Smash is so
Yeah, probably the
massive
last
that
one.
there
That
could
was really
easily
cool,
be a
man.
part 2 to this video. So if you have a fact that you would like to see in a potential part 2, please let me know down in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was great to regurgitate all of the pointless information that I have in my brain into a specific video, and I would love to do it again. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and please remember to be good to one another.
Yeah. This video was by Aaron and Mark. Man. Wow, guys, that was a really good video. That was really good. Yeah, a really good iceberg video. Yeah, I'm glad I did another one. Yeah, these here are those are really good to do. Yeah, they're really good to do. So yeah, I'm ending the stream now. Guys. So guys, and see you guys next time. And should I race someone? I'm not sure to be honest. Not sure. Yeah, there we go. Is there anyone streaming? No, they're not. No, to be honest, yeah, no raid. Yeah, I'm just gonna end the stream now. But so guys, see you guys next time, man. Goodbye, guys, and bye.